Alright, let's talk about a gardening trend that's been buzzing lately. Gardeners swapping out lavender for Nepeta, also known as catmint. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why mess with a classic like lavender? But hear me out, because this switch isn't just about following a fad. It's about practicality, longevity, and, honestly, a bit of a smarter choice for your garden. So, let's dive in. First off, the hook here is simple. Lavender, as charming as it is, has this annoying habit of turning woody after a few years. Personally, I think that's a deal-breaker for anyone aiming for that timeless, lush cottage garden look. I mean, who wants their carefully curated border to start looking like a collection of sticks? What makes this really interesting is that Nepeta offers the same aesthetic appeal, those lovely purple blooms and that airy, romantic vibe, but without the woody downfall. It's like finding a plant that's learned from lavender's mistakes. Now, let's talk hardiness. Nepeta is suitable for USDA Hardiness Zone 3, which is a big deal if you're dealing with harsh winters. In my opinion, this alone makes it a more reliable choice for a wider range of gardeners. Lavender, while beautiful, can struggle in colder climates, and that's a limitation many people don't realize until it's too late. What this really suggests is that Nepeta isn't just an alternative, it's an upgrade for certain conditions. Another point that immediately stands out is the flowering season. Nepeta blooms from early spring to early fall, which is a much longer period than lavender's late spring to midsummer show. If you take a step back and think about it, that's more color, more fragrance, and more time to enjoy your garden. Plus, it's easier to prune. With lavender, you've got to be careful not to let it go woody, but with Nepeta, pruning is straightforward and doesn't come with the same risk. This raises a deeper question. Why do we put up with high-maintenance plants when there are easier, more forgiving options? Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the scent. Lavender's fragrance is iconic, but Nepeta holds its own with a light, spearmint lavender mix. From my perspective, this is a win-win. You get a similar aromatic experience without the hassle. And here's a detail I find fascinating. Nepeta is part of the mint family, which means it's edible. That's a whole new layer of versatility that lavender just can't match. Pollinators love Nepeta just as much as lavender, which is a huge plus for anyone looking to support bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. What many people don't realize is that Nepeta's open, tube-shaped flowers are actually more accessible for pollinators than lavender's denser blooms. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about creating a garden that's both beautiful and functional. Caring for Nepeta is where it really shines. It's drought-tolerant, thrives in well-drained soil, and doesn't mind partial shade. Personally, I think this adaptability is what makes it a game-changer. Lavender can be finicky about water and sunlight, but Nepeta is like the easygoing friend who's always up for whatever. If you're someone who's struggled with lavender's demands, Nepeta might just be the solution you've been looking for. So, why isn't everyone talking about Nepeta? In my opinion, it's because lavender has this romantic, almost nostalgic appeal that's hard to shake. But if you take a step back and think about it, gardening is about balance, finding plants that look great and work well in your space. Nepeta checks both boxes, and it does so with less fuss. This raises a deeper question. Are we sticking with certain plants out of habit, or are we choosing what truly makes sense for our gardens? In closing, I'm not saying lavender doesn't have its place, it absolutely does. But Nepeta offers a compelling alternative that's harder to ignore the more you learn about it. It's longer blooming, easier to care for, and just as charming. So, the next time you're planting your garden, ask yourself, are you planting for the past, or are you planting for the future? Personally, I'm Team Nepeta all the way. What about you?